What time is it? Okay, we have some fabulous live music later on, but right now, here's the kind I prefer.
What's up? This is your boy Tim Styles Sanchez here, and we are here on WestCoastStyles.com YouTube channel, the OGWCR, and we got a special guest in the house today. We've got the legendary Kokane, the most featured artist in hip hop in history, and we got my boy Shad Reed here. He's going to be joining me and doing the interview. Kokane, if he's in the car right now, so if it's a little dark. That's why you can't see, but this is the legendary Kokane, man. What's up, bro?
All right, what's happening with it, fam? Happy New Year to both of you gentlemen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I know you're a busy man, but we just wanted to celebrate your career, and we wanted to interview you, and we wanted to just spotlight everything that you're up to these days. I was on a Clubhouse last night with Corrupt and Chill, DJ Quick, and all them. The legendary Curtis Blow came in the house, and he said that he was working on a new song with you. You did the hook for like an anthem for I think it's for Kamala Harris.
Yes, for Kamala Harris, and he recruited me to fellowship with the brother, and plus, that's one of our idols, all hip hop idols that should be. And it was a blessing, you know what I mean, the fellowship. He's also on my new upcoming album called Give Me Five on the Black Hand Side. So I grew up on Curtis Blow, man. You got to realize the first rap record to go gold was These Are the Breaks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when you hear all that stuff like clap your hands, everybody, somebody say, oh, that came from the man. So it's really like hip hop gospel. You know what I'm saying? So he pulled me on in, and the spirit don't lie when God connect people. And it's just a blessing to fellowship with the brother, the OG.
Nice, man. So how was it working with the legend? I mean, like I said, I grew up on Curtis Blow. I was like a 9-year-old kid when the breaks came out, and my big cousins were playing it at the parties and stuff like that. What was it like for you, man, to work with the icon?
Oh man, that's a hell of a one on the bucket list. You know what I'm saying? That's a check off the bucket list. You know what I'm saying? I had a chance to work with greats from George Clinton to Parliament, to Cameo, and plus who my dad was from being from Motown. But, that was definitely one on the bucket list to work with cats like him. I always wanted to work with Rakim, never to get a chance, but, mainly to the pillars of hip hop, that influenced over 40 generations, if not 50. You know what I mean? And his brother's spirit is so real. We identify with certain testimonies and hardships, because a lot of hardships come in this game. Survival of the fittest ain't that easy, man. Only the strong survive. So it became, our brotherly relationship really became family, and it's a blessing to, hear all those experiences coming from the OGs. You grew up and you get your first, DJ set, and you do your talent shows, and these are the guys that you had on your little bitty boom box at that time, just dreaming. So, for that to come to fruition, it really is, man. If you put your heart and soul and your focus in the universe and be passionate about it, you'll work with anybody that God wants you to work with, and that's a blessing, man. Because I'm learning a lot. You know what I'm saying? How things really was, and as people, when you genuinely love hip hop or funk music, and you're able to get seasoned by them, you know what I'm saying? That's really rewarding to your spirit. So it feels good, man, to work with those cats and continuing on this fellowship.
Nice. What's the song called, by the way? Can you give us some info about the song?
Yeah, it's for her. It's called Kamala the Great. Kamala, Kamala, Kamala the Great. Let's celebrate. You know what I mean? So it got like one of them jazzy beats, and it's an honor to start building with him. And when he got on my project, because to Give Me Five on the Black Hand Side album that's coming out, I might put out at the end of August. But it's really taking them back to the future and back to the past and bringing them back to the future with it.
Yeah.
So we really did our homework on there and it's this musical composition is heartfelt. It's real shit, street shit on there because I ain't gonna never leave the streets alone. But it's
Yeah.
really showing the maturity in my musicianship, and you know what I'm saying. It's incredible composition. So Brother Curtis Blow had a chance to get on there and do some ministry because now he's a reverend. So salute out
Oh,
to the Reverend Curtis Blow, and it's just incredible. And I also recruited Cool Rock Ski from the Fat Boys.
yeah. I've been hearing about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So we got a single coming out soon. We got a video. It's gonna come out soon. It's filmed in New York. You know what I'm saying? I can't really let too much out the bag, but it's gonna be incredible. It's gonna make the streets feel good and all hip hoppers really feel good. They
Yeah, I heard about that
genuinely
from
love
Chill.
that.
Yeah, Chill
Yeah.
had been
So
talking about that a little bit. He said that y'all was bringing Cool Rock Ski back, and I was like, wow, that's one of my childhood
oh
idols
man.
right there, man. You know?
How many people don't remember Disorderlies and remember All You Can Eat and Jailhouse Rock? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, these kids really need to get educated on the foundation. And that's a blessing that cats are still around, being able to really tell you how it was and kind of put some integrity back into hip hop because at one
For
time
sure.
hip hop became at disarray, bro. And that wasn't hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That was gossip hop. You know what I mean? So now this is a good chance for hip hop fans and for the streets as well, because the streets is always tied into hip hop, to see a song with the legendary Kokane and icon Cool Rock Ski from the Fat Boys. So
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing.
Woo. That's beautiful. This is my boy Shad Reed here. He's a part of the staff here at West Coast Styles, and he wanted to ask you some questions. So Shad,
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead and indulge, brother.
Oh, thanks, Styles. Cocaine, pleasure to speak with you. One of the things you mentioned earlier, you were talking about your musical history. For those who don't, or your musical, or your family's musical history. For those who don't know, can you kind of let the people know who some of your relatives are?
Well, my pops, my mom was a singer in the late 60s, but my pops, he was an incredible, gifted writer, arranger, composer, orchestrator, director. He was the technician of Motown. But prior to coming to Motown, he worked on Little Richard Records, the great Little Richard, rest in peace. Worked on this record. He did a record for Frank Sinatra. And then when Motown was coming into existence, he helped create this thing called the Funk Brothers. And some of his works include Just My Imagination by the Temptation, Papa Was a Rolling
Mm.
Stone. You know what I mean? So his name is Jerry Buddy Long Sr. I'm Jerry Buddy Long Jr. That's why my company name is Buddy Boy Entertainment. You know what I mean? And he just did some incredible stuff, man. And you kind of say music was like, in my DNA. So, between me and my cousin Hutch from 180 from Above the Law, code 187, we kind of like had the cheat code. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Willie Hutch is also our uncle, and he was real big in the 70s. He did
Oh
the
yeah.
whole movie score for the Mac and wrote I'll Be There and ABC for the Jacksons, and having songs like Brothers Gonna Work It Out. That was Uncle Willie Hutch. So we the apple fell off the tree. We didn't have no choice but to do music, and that's my humble surroundings.
Did you ever feel any pressure to, live up to some of the success that your relatives had, or was it more inspiring?
Well, it was more inspiring, and at the same time, I'm glad my dad um, talked to me whenever he could, because there was a lot of things that I can't really explain that's going to be in my book coming up called The Making of a Legend, that is going to blow your mind. It's going to talk about the corruption in the music industry back then. So I had to live with my grandparents in Pomona, California, Missy Amini Salim and Abdul Salim. And, I would see my dad various times, always be around him, but, with some other things going on. But just taking what my dad said, he said, I did what I did, Jerry Jr., but I don't want you to live in my shadow. And at first I didn't get it, you know what I'm saying? But later through the years, he was just saving me a world of trouble for people to find out, who he was, for me to have a certain expectation back then. And that was doing my growing lessons, my adolescence, and everything. And a lot of celebrity kids get a lot of backlash and high expectations. And he never did wanted me to do that because he wanted me to have my own identity. And I took what he did and be inspired. And I used to emulate a lot of records, besides the stuff that he did, just soulful and the funk experience and the hip hop experience is like one big pot of menudo, one big pot of gumbo. And I just was inspired by the greats, knowing I was inspired by number one by my father. So I kept it a secret. You know what I'm saying? And later through the years, I appreciate that because it's the same thing I told my daughter, who's now the third generation of musicians and artists and doing her thing. Her name is Anissa Long, aka Young Colombiana. But she's 25 now, but I told her that when she was 12 years old, and she used to cry sometimes. But it's that wisdom handed down through generations. And now she get it. She stand up on her own. Because I told her the same thing my father told me. I didn't want you to live in my shadow, create your own lane. You know what I mean? And if they're really serious about it, they're gonna fly. So I just thank my dad and my mom, for really, giving me the wisdom on how to sustain years later by having this creativity and finding my own identity.
What did they think of hip hop when it first came out?
Uh, my dad from the old school. He called it B flat. He was like, that's all right. My grandmother and them, they were into jazz. My grandfather was heavily into jazz. His cousin is Charlie Bird Parker, the actual real Charlie Bird Parker. And they was into tap dancing. So they didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get it. But, you know, we got it because, still in the 60s, they was rapping. You look at Muhammad Ali, he was rapping. He was rhyming and rapping. You know what I'm saying? But it was just different strokes for different folks. They had on KKGO and they used to go to the Playboy Jazz Festival. But when it came to rap, they was like, turn that bullshit off. But we kept it up because we also had a soulful and jazzful and bluesy side to our whole get down. And that's what I identified with because when the Sugar Hill Gang, Treacherous Street, and, of course, Grandmaster Flash, rap was so beautiful when it started. You know what I'm saying? It was extra beautiful because hip hop was about, of course, it was about battling, but didn't nobody want to go home and shoot each other. Of course, it was about good music, you know what I'm saying? But didn't nobody really take it to the next level? They always had a message. You know what I'm saying? Always had a message. When you listen to Grandmaster Flash and those records, Sugar Hill Gang, those records and those sample records or whatever they did, even going to Houdini, those were funky records. Those were soulful records. You know what I'm saying? So this new generation, I tend to learn to not to knock it so much because it's just like grandma trying to tell, these kids to turn that bullshit off. So I don't knock it for the hustle. Yeah, I don't knock it for the hustle. But the thing that we had soul to our music. You know what I'm saying? We had funk to our music, real break beats. We had jazz to our music,
It was
poetry.
a groove.
It was about it was about a message. You know what I mean? So, I just think that people are taking this time to hibernate and really revert back to the essence because the music we put out, it helped us when we was going through the ghettos and struggles. It helped us. You know what I'm saying? And not to say, Marvin Gaye couldn't do a what's going on to sexual hip, but at least we had a balance. Nowadays, music is really articulating like 80 to 90% of bullshit, and there's no balance. It's like when you do popular songs and do stuff like that, Like if you do a Malcolm X movie, you won't get an Academy Award when you just do the training day. But
Mm-hmm.
now the shit is like it needs to get back. It needs to get back to where music can be popular and still you can do your trap, but then you can go over here in the positive and the soul music and the OG music is the playing fields is fair. So that's why I came out and wanted to come out. And I know I'm talking all day, but I wanted
No,
to continue to keep my two step on how, yeah, on how a G funk to know, no, it's gonna hit them hard. So that's what I did. I stuck to my lane, big dog, and came out with this monkey wasn't funky. And we
Mm.
did these contests, and it's amazing because people are hungry for this type of G funk, real authentic G funk, soul music again. And we're giving them exactly what they want at a time to where it's very impeccable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Um, so how did you get started as an artist?
Um, I started in the early '80s, doing rapping, bag rapping, and at the same time singing, trying to emulate, Rick James, Curtis Mayfield, where's George Clinton, Smokey Robinson, just anything that was funky, Sugarfoot, Ohio Players, Barcades. I was a really alien baby, a star child, So I
Mhm.
used to do a lot of talent shows and running behind my cousin, Cole 187. He used to do talent shows, and he had a group called Wizards of Rock in 1985. And that really let me know, that put the extras on it, that this is where I want to go. This is what I really want to do. So I took it serious. My MC name used to be called Jay Golden because my grandma named me the color ops. You know what I mean? But beginning of 1989, we felt it was time to alter,
Mhm.
and come up with a name that is complementary to various styles that I do. So my cousin named me Kokane. He said, just like people on cocaine, your style is like that. That means you could do anything and nobody can put just, a one tag on you. Like you do this. Like a lot of people used to compare me and dog because we were the only two, you know what I'm saying, that was trailblazing the most on the hooks. And they used to try to compare us, but me and Nate used to sit back and laugh because Nate Dogg, what he do? I don't do what Nate Dogg do, but he only had one style he used to stick to. See, the
Mm.
reason why I got signed to Ruthless Records and Easy E loved the name that my cousin gave me is because he felt that he had his George Clinton, Rick James, and cocaine can bust, and all these different things. This Easy E thinking, and it just it was best for me as the name cocaine. I kept it and kept it moving. I kind of got thrown off of what we was talking about, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. So when you were signed to Ruthless, you also appeared on the Deep cover soundtrack. How did that come about, considering that the lead single from that soundtrack was from Dre, who had just left Ruthless because of a business dispute? How did all that come together?
Well, we all was buddies before, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it was a guy by the name of Hank Carwell and John JP, who's actually a contributor member of Death Row Administration and Business. Um, they forced the issue. They was like, man, we like cocaine,
Hmm.
regardless if it's a Death Row and Ruthless B. We pushing that shit on there. So that was a power move by them. And a lot of people don't know there was only two artists that wasn't Death Row artists on there, and that was the group Pork and Lonely, and that was Cocaine with Nickel Slick Nigga.
Hmm.
That's how that came about. And I appreciate that because that soundtrack was an intricate part of the Death Row experience. Introducing Snoop, and that was Cocaine on there. A lot of people don't know that, but via technology and platforms like this, it's always good to educate them and fill in the gaps. You did.
For sure. Um, I watched a video recently of you performing with Tupac back in the early '90s. What was it like? What was your first impression of him when you met him?
Uh-huh. Oh, great poet, real prolific. I know, working with Nipsey Hussle, kind of remind me of Tupac. But Tupac was the OG, the most prolific. And meeting him back in the beginning of 1990, got to remember Like Hustlers came out. Um, Plus we was doing all in the same gang, so it was around that time. And Pac always used to come out here and mess with Laylaw, Bubba Law, me, NWA, the whole camp. He was intrigued, and plus we had mutual business partners, a cat by the name of Atrian that was manager of Digital Underground at that time. So when we seen Pac, man, we liked him, man, because at the same time he was like brilliant writer. He was animated, to speak, but he would sit back and look at us create songs, and he always liked the Brother Law and Cocaine songs because my first album was called Who Am I because they were scared to say cocaine, so they changed it to Who Am I. I used to have songs like I used to have songs. Sometimes I feel like my day is coming. Won't you free my mind? Free my mind. Free, that type of shit, right? And
Hmm.
Pac would be sitting up here absorbing it. It's like wow, a lot of people don't know, how much above the law cocaine NWA influenced Pac because they
Hmm.
only identify a lot of his stuff to the death row experience. Nah, you know what I mean? Pac was soaking it all in, and we identified with him. And like he said, man, I'm from the G Funk, but you can call it what you want. Long before, Brother Warren took it worldwide, Dexter, and of course Dr. Dre and Snoop. But he knew what time it was, and he knew how much he was influenced. And at the same time, he influenced us. That's what made it so good of a friendship, brotherhood. You know what I mean? And we had a chance to do shows, and it was this one spot, man, that was the biggest spot ever out in LA for the entertainment scene. And that was called the Jamaica House. It was owned by my manager, Howard Lynch, at that time. And we used to have a ball, man. And he was always in tune to what we were doing, and we were in tune to what he was doing. I remember the first time I heard the homies call. I think Law and D-Mac had did that beat. I think they did. And he said, "Look, man, I sampled your voice in it when the homies call. When I write y'all." I
No,
said, that's dope, Pop.
I had no idea that was
He
you.
was that type of
Oh, that's
life of the
cool.
party. Yeah, yes, sir. So he was a good brother, but misunderstood at the same time. You know what I mean? And a lot of our brothers and sisters are misunderstood. They're just great. And when he went to jail, he did the death row thing. When he came back, blew up, and then I bumped into him again after Easy passed in 1995, of course. But in '96, beginning of '96, around that time, we had a in again, me, him, and Spice One, and it was on, man, because you know, I saw Pac was in Hollywood, and he was like, we seen him on me and Chico, Spice One. It was like, man, what's up, Pac? It's like Coca. So we go back to the Madrian, kick it for a little bit, and then we go to his house on Sherman Way in the Valley. And I'm on the piano and I'm playing. I'm going back to play. And sometimes I feel like Mike, because if you listen to a lot of Pac stuff, he always talk about life and death. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But just the way we used to talk, make up songs in 1988 like this. So I'm on the piano playing the stuff, and he get a phone call from Quincy Jones' daughter, and he on the phone arguing. Gaddafi was around, all the guy Fatal, all that was around. He argued. He was like, "Man, fuck this shit, man. Man, I'm getting tired of this so famous shit and all this so bullshit. He's like, man, let's go to the studio and write a song, man. I got the idea. It's called Fortune and Fame. I said, all right, come on. So we go to the studio, and me and Spice One laid down our vocals to the original Fortune and Fame by Tupac.
Wow.
So that was incredible, man. That whole ride, and I'll tell you last, so we can get on to the next question. Um, Pac, me, Spice One was supposed to be out in Vegas with Pac because we was gonna meet up with him. We was about to join his One Nation. He talked about it in some interviews. But I had a record with Yella because Yella had an album out called One More Nigga to Go. And then I had a record out called For Writers Only. But I had to sing for Yella record called This Is for the E in celebration of our homeboy Easy E that passed. You know what I mean? But Pac was like, when he got back from New York, he called us and said, I want y'all to come out there, man. I'm about to come out there, man. I said, I can't go, man, because I got to work this record. I was at Scotty Brothers on Santa Monica, in the office. I had to work my record. And then Spice One had to do something. And then, like, the next day, fam, Be Legit called me because that's my partner. Shout out to Be Legit. We always chop it up. He's like, man, Pac gone. And I thought he was playing, but I heard it in his voice. Turned on the television, bro. My heart just dropped, like, boom.
Shit.
Like, I had to go in the room, shed little crocodile tears. Yeah, but that was the last time I seen Pac, and what an artist, but not just the artist. What incredible, bro.
Was that song that you, him, and Spice One did
His
together?
legacy.
That was
amazing. Him, Easy. You look at Nips, even Nipsey Hussle.
mm-hmm.
That legacy will never be stopped, man. It will go on and go on ever. On the good. To work with Pac as well as can call him my brother.
Was that record that you, him, and Spice One did? Was that was supposed to go on the One Nation album?
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Hello?
You
Can you hear us? I can hear you, brother.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
Maybe he can't. Can you hear us, Kokane?
I think he's having some technical difficulties right now.
Okay.
He's coming, breaking in and out. So just give him a second. I think he might need to maybe get into a better location.
For sure.
What are we talking about right now? Just update everybody what we're talking about. Right
that's called Fortune and Fame. You can look that up. You can type in Kokane, featuring Kokane. We did that. Jim.
I think he's breaking
in
up
downtown LA.
Okay.
And
yeah, we seem to be having some technical difficulties, guys. Just give it a second. Hopefully he gets into a better place.
For sure.
Yeah, he just disconnected. So we're reviewing, man. We're talking to the legendary Kokane right now.
Yeah, he's breaking down his history. He has an extensive history in this game. His father was a big time Motown player, and his uncle was Willie Hutch. And if you don't know who Willie Hutch is, you need to get on Google and learn about him because he's a very instrumental soul artist. From the 70s, man.
Awesome.
So he comes from a very musical background. Him and his cousin Hutch, who's also known as 187 from Above the Law. So.
Yeah.
He's got a good tree there as far as music is concerned.
He's like the Kevin Bacon of hip hop, man. He's that, bro, like if you want to fucking do a hip hop Kevin Bacon challenge, That's Kokane, man. He's on every. I mean, he's probably worked with so many people and been on so many hooks. My boy has with him, extensively worked with him and the homie James Broadway. Shout out James B-Way. What's up? Yeah, man, this guy.
Kokane is the most featured hip hop artist in history. Period.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, if you
we gotta do that. One of these days, we just gotta do that. 6 degrees of cocaine.
If you look up featured Kokane, you're gonna get a long ass list from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yeah,
of artists, that he's been featured with. I mean, even now, like we're talking, he was featured with the legendary Curtis Blow just a few days ago.
Adds to the degrees, man. It says adds to the degrees. I think we got him back right now. Let me just bring him back in real quick, and I'll pop my head out.
Okay, for sure.
Kokane, are you there? Are we good?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, we're back.
Just keep that in mind, guys, that there's a bit of a delay with him, and it'll take some time for him to respond back to us. Oh, maybe he doesn't hear us. Kokane, you there? Can you hear us?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear us?
Yeah. You hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Perfect.
Do you hear me? I'm talking. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. And there might be a delay, so
cool.
that's probably what's happening right now. We're probably just experiencing a little bit of a delay between the connection and everything, so that's probably why we're not hearing each other. But continue, guys. I'm gonna get off. Go ahead and keep it going. Thank you.
All right, Shad, hit him.
Okay. Moving forward a little bit, you made a lot of appearances, and one of the first times I became aware of you by name was for your features on Snoop's Last Meal album, and you were featured heavily on that. Does any one particular song from that release stand out to you?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
I mean, the whole project is incredible, And, Hennessy and Buddha, Wrong Idea, Pump Your Brakes, Raindrops. It's like 9 songs on there, 8 to 9 songs, man. Mm-hmm. But prior to that, a lot of people would just discover me off, the Doghouse experience. Me being on the East Siders. Snoop present 3 songs, Deuces and Trays 11 songs. You know what I mean? So they know me from there, but they don't know that Kokane first platinum record was co-writing on the Niggas for Life album, Eazy-E parts, the 10 Gangster Commandments for Eazy-E on Appetite of Destruction. Just as well as introducing a character called Sweet Talk, the one who do, well, I write y'all across the USC, Compton Watts, they know we know to walk to the, that little spin-off of Funkadelic Sir Knows. You know what I mean? So like my first record, platinum records, Taste of Success was 1991. And of course, Code 187 would sprinkle me on Black Mafia Life, Uncle Sam's Curse. And then you heard me on the, Hall of Game album. I'm the one who sing Penitentiary Chance 340. You heard me on the Too Short, So after Eazy-E passed, that was like my lifeline. You know what I'm saying? Assets was frozen. People couldn't get their money. So I would go to studio, and 9 times out of 10, people would use me. So I built up a good relationship with my Chicano brothers, and they were spending money with me, and then overseas was spending money, and then you had your cats from the East Coast, so it created a safe haven for me to get money at a time to when the schematics of my business wasn't intact. You know what I mean? And I had to feed my family, but it start building and building and building. And then in 1999, me and Snoop reconnected because we knew each other before, because Snoop Dogg actually auditioned for Above the Law at the end of 1990 because Code 187 was going to put Snoop out, because Warren G always used to talk about bringing him to the table, but he couldn't do it at a time when I was a signed ruthless artist. But going back, we reconnected in 1999 at the Music Grinder. He said he had a group called the Eastsiders. I was already working with Trey D, because in 1998 I was with a group of people called Street Institute. It's my homeboys from Palmetto Block Crip, and we used to do songs with Booyah Tribe. Half Dead used to come by, Badass used to come by, rest in peace, and Trey D. So once he put the group together talking about Snoop, he was like, man, your sound, man, that you've been doing over the years, I always love, even when we are at odds with each other, with the Ruthless and Death Row thing. You know what I mean? But we were friends before, so we squashed the beef, linked it in, went to the Music Grinder out in Hollywood. That's the recording studio, and did don't with Meech Wells. So I doing Uncle George shit over. So I can't get around.
Yeah.
Don't. And then we went back and did that the ghetto. I was born coming up from the ghetto with the OGs
Rick
on the east
James.
side and
Yep.
shit with a battle cat beat. Yeah, yeah. So we did that. Battle Cat did the beat, and then me and Battle Cat already had um a couple dealings with each other. We had came out with he was on 1999. He produced that. We also did Dollars Dank and Drink with Short Chop. So what
Woo!
Snoop was doing,
That's classic.
yeah, he was assembling an all-star team. You know what I'm saying? A cold team. And he allowed me to have creative control over there because he liked the sound, and some of that stuff influenced him. You know, a lot influenced him. And we came up with some of the most classic shit, man, during that time. And it felt good because you couldn't tell us nothing, man. Like in 1999 and 2000, that was really when the West Coast, you know, for the OGs, just had it on like super lock. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like we couldn't go nowhere, man. All those records was incredible. So it really helped catapult my name. And then I started doing songs with Jada and soaking up some of that stuff on the east side with Busta Rhymes, Puff Daddy, you know, and it kept going. So finally, when we broke away, you know, because MCA filed Chapter 11, that was a group with Latoya Williams, Superfly, E White, and myself. And I was gonna come out with an album called Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Kane over at the Doghouse. But MCA filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So everybody scattered their ways. You know, some of the fellas had to do some time. I moved up here and started my own company, and that was beautiful for me with my wife. And it's called Buddy Boy Entertainment. It's 13 years now. And it was super cool because it allowed me to rethink everything because I've already been a platinum and gold artist. But now that I have my autonomy and now that I have the person I can trust who smell my funky breath every day is my wife. And you know what I'm saying? It was a blessing. And then she stopped me one day and said, I think it's like 2009 or something, 2010. She was like, babe, I did a research and a couple of her team, you know, solid associates, you know, did the research along with my son, and all these songs just start popping up. Bow, 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 bow. And these are not just any songs. It was, of course, independent on there, but these are like platinum and gold artists too. Bow, bow. So she said, let me do some homework and let me get with my team, you know, her associates. And it took them 2 years to figure all that out. And when she hit me with the news, because I was never thinking about that, to tell you the truth, being the most featured nothing. I just like working. You know what I mean? But she said, no, this is something we can have a legacy of inspiration, first and foremost, to our children, and then to inspire generations. So I said, okay, run it. So after that 2 year mark, her doing extensive research, it actually came out in the thousands. You know what I'm saying? So we said, whoa. We was like, whoa, because you know, when you talk about record breakers, that's a big thing. You know what I mean? And ain't nothing wrong being humbled by all the hard work that you do to show people and inspire others, just like LeBron James inspire, just like Michael Jordan inspire, etc. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So wifey was like saying, can nobody in hip hop say you own more features than you? You own more features than anybody in the game. And this is collaborative features. Now, there's more features in television, like television producers have. We would never talk about that. We was talking about the go-to guy that been in hip hop the most is the legendary Kokane with thousands of features. So I was like, "Wow, can we prove that?" And she said, "Oh." She started showing me the information. We have people fact check it anywhere, and you notice the information we put out there. Not one single person from the top to the bottom has been able to dispute Cocaine being the most collaborative artist in the world because they can't. Because I'm pretty sure, people like to, and I would do that too. I do my homework. I just ain't gonna believe Donald Trump type shit. I'm gonna do my fact checking, and not one came back. One came back, to say that. So it wasn't it wasn't an intent to shit on any other artists because I worked and blessed other artists. I helped them
Yeah.
put people in the Hall of Fame and everything else. So it's not that case. It was something to say, wow, no matter how many doors were shut on my face because my name was Cocaine, no
Mm-hmm.
matter how all the times I fell into sacrificial lambs because the homies are passing and going through the pinta, in and out of jail and losing people and getting over substances and all that. It was just like, okay, this is something where I can control my narrative and leave this legacy down to my kids first
Yeah.
and inspire a whole generation. So now it's a blessing to be able to inspire kids all over the world because I don't get my jollies if Hollywood don't see it or industry people don't see it. It's a blessing when I get faithful messages on my stuff like, man, this music saved my life. Your word saved my life, man. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I was listening to No Pain, No Gain to save my life. I was listening to a feature you did with somebody, even the stuff I did with people. The positive words and comments that come out of there is priceless, fam. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what you don't see unless I expose it. And it's just one of those things to share to the world that we're here to inspire, man, because the rich man and the poor man grave is the same. But what are you gonna leave? You know what I'm saying? Like before it's
Mm-hmm.
said and done, one thing they'll know about cocaine is that he stood for something. He was a man of honor. He kept it good for the streets. And number one above all, he put God and family first because that's what saved me in this industry and losing a bunch of people around me is that I was blessed with a wife that in 2021 I've been with her 37 years, married 31, but 37 years together, and we got 8 kids by each other.
Wow.
That was the wire that grounded me so life wouldn't continue to shock my ass. People just
Mm-hmm.
take what I did and there's no accountability, and I'll be put into a bucket like so many of our brothers and sisters that are incredible artists that you have no clue, man, that got raped for their stuff,
Yeah.
got taken from their credit, got left out, not just taken, but got left out like you didn't have nothing to do with nothing. My wife, my children is my backbone. They said, nah. My kids said, nah, dad. Wifey said, nah, not on our clock. And then that inspired me to get the confidence to say no too. No one controls my narrative. It's not about it's not about shitting on people. It's about having accountability because history is very important. And a lot of people come up to me, big dog, and say, man, well, let it go and let it go. I said, no, you don't let it go because let me tell you something, player. They still talk about Jesus Christ's legacy. And that was 2,000 years ago. And imagine if they let it go. No, history is very much equally a part of your future because if you don't know the past, nobody's gonna respect your future, and you're gonna respect mine.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. So I think it's really commendable too that you've been able to take your knowledge and experience and not only continue to make great music, but also from a business standpoint, put together Buddy Boy Entertainment. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, it was good, man. My name's Jerry Buddy Long Jr. My pops is the great Jerry Buddy Long Sr. from Motown. And the realest person I know is my novia. It's my wife. You know what I'm saying? And she
Mhm.
knew the business affairs by, just always having my back doing my administration. It had to get to a point where I stopped being hard headed because if I'd have listened to my wife a long time ago, it'd save me some trouble. But sometimes dudes got to bump their head because they chauvinistic sometimes, thinking you know it all. You don't know shit. And I had to, once I had to humble myself and have that type of brokenness. I seen the God in her, and I found God more, and it wasn't about being perfect. It's just about finding your footsteps. And I found my footsteps, man. So we've been on this road. We started 13 years ago. And when we started, everybody think, just because you have a fresh idea and you this and that, starting from scratch is not the easiest thing to do, but it shows character through
Mhm.
all the process and brokenness you had to get there, right? So it's like framing
Hmm.
your dollar on your first business. It don't mean lines are around the corner, but you're so driven in faith and optimism that those ideas are gonna come. So it was rough the first 3 years because we were paying a lot of money out that we wasn't breaking even because of the being the sacrificial lambs of streaming and
Oh yeah.
technology really fucked up the music industry, to tell you the truth. You know what I mean? But we started it and then we start figuring out things, and then we made it just enough money equal back. And then we tapped into our own source and created our own lane, our own platform called Buddy Boy Digital. You know what I mean? Because it's about consolidating and using that traffic for your websites and rating high on your Alexa. So I have a son, incredible son, that's a webmaster that has been growing and building over the years. And we didn't put a time clock on ourselves, big dog, like to say, okay, if we don't make it this year, that's it. I think people, when they set goals and then put a time clock on themselves, they'll always be in a relay race instead of understanding what a marathon is. No, we
Mhm.
understood the marathon aspect. So we said we're gonna keep working, and as long as we growing, we good. And it just kept growing. It's the same old two-step to my formula. We kept
Mhm.
growing. My son got better with the websites. And the last 3 projects we put out, we made a lot of bread of it because we put out singles to use the Orchard Sony distribution line, but all that influx is to bring it back home to my buddy boy ent.com site, and it's been working, and it's that's the beautiful thing, that having the independence is everything, but being able to have the independence while things are not in your favor and things you have to grow into is everything. And we grew into it because it's like now my son know how to operate, the systems to have proper conversion rates and different other turnarounds, and that's what we wanted to get into the nitty gritty on how to make a lucrative business and still enjoy selling music and breaking more than even. But we had to figure that out, and that took like 7 years to even do that.
No.
So now we at a good place right now. I'm taking my time. That's why I don't have to put out a bunch of stuff all the time because content is king. I got vaults of albums already done. Oh, I'm prepared. You know what I mean? But it's good because when we put out this Monkey Wasn't Funky, man, we did a dance contest that went global. And that's a beautiful thing because as independent, you don't have to follow anybody's tradition. All you got to do is stumble into your own innovation. And that shit went so big. And then we turned around and said, we really want to tap into the culture of dancing, whether it's pop lock, whether it's crump, whether it's whatever, of low riding and DJing. And we just got through doing this $3,000 giveaway. Big ups to all the DJs on the Monkey Wasn't Funky DJ contest. And again, what it's doing, it went global, because you have 3 of the contestants that won, one from Belgium, one from France, and etc. And that's what we wanted to do, is tap into the globe because it was time. That's why we always say Buddy Boy Global, because we plan to put people on from different parts of the world that are great artists out
Mhm.
there. So we feel good right now. Started our company, it was rough, but we here right now. You know what I'm saying? Making a difference and continuing to grow and put out great music.
Mhm. That's a beautiful thing that you got your family as your team. Not a lot of artists have that, you know. You got, your like you said, your son and your wife, backing you like that, and that's a beautiful thing, brother.
Thanks, man. It's the only thing that makes sense in this crazy world right now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You know,
How has being a father changed your perspective on making music?
I always knew I was a father when my twins came out. You feel me?
Mhm.
Um, but I didn't act like I was still immature. After you live that life and you go on the road and you know NWA and Brother Law and you see that rock star status. You know what I mean? It can revert your mind into different directions that are contrary to what you need to be doing for your family. And
Mhm.
I had to have a great fall, like Humpty Dumpty, sat on the wall and had a great fall. But your greatest friends or your greatest family members are those that love you regardless when you fall, not when you have it all. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? And my wife was right there. She picked me up. My kids uplifted me. They forgive me. So that allowed me to forgive myself because I had certain things stemming from my childhood that was just locked in the cage. And crying inside is always worse when I'm out, so to speak. But
Mhm.
she was there. She was my queen, and that's why I'm so adamant on really giving God all the glory, and saying like, Lord, continue to work on me, continue to work on my family, and continue to let me inspire people, because people need a good word sometimes. It's not about lights, camera, and action all the time. It's about how can you influence someone to better themselves, to do it even potentially bigger than you. And I just feel honored and blessed, that the Lord, knowing how much wrong I done, loves this family and loves you, and wants you to get it right. He loves, man. The problem is that we don't learn how to love until it's too late. And I was just fortunate enough to have somebody catch me, like my wife and family, before it was too late for
Beautiful,
me.
beautiful.
Yeah, very, very beautiful. On a little bit lighter note, you are an old school artist. So just kind of one question I gotta ask too: what was it like being in the movie Old School? Do you have any fond memories from the?
Oh man, that was a one of a kind situation, man.
Yeah,
We
Will
get in the
Ferrell snapped
car.
you.
Well, yeah, that was crazy, man. Snoop kind of surprised us all. I didn't know I was gonna be in the movie. After doing Paid the Cost to Be the Boss, he had a spot on the outskirts of Pomona in Claremont, and we was just rolling. So the homie was rolling. He was rolling his weed, was all smoking. Then we get to Universal lot, and I'm like, "What's this?" And then we go into the campers, and then it's a stage already set up with a bunch of people, and I didn't even know that. And I'm like, "Well," he's like, "I got you, man. We finna do our little scene." Our dog talk. He was like, "We gonna do our scene, cuz. Come on." You know what I'm saying? So we went out there, and that was a one take Jake because Will Ferrell fool. He came out there asshole naked, and we was doing "In the World of Change." Here I am, grooving with the crowd. What you need is a game to get your blah, 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 blah. What the fuck? He was asshole naked. So that scene was like, that shit was a real one take Jake, fam. Everybody was like, bam. And that wasn't even written in the script when he said, "Bring your green hat." Will Ferrell just did that on Johnny on the Spot. You know what I'm saying? And it turned out to be
Wow.
one of the funniest shit ever, man. Old school. I heard Old School is definitely in the top 20 of being one of the funniest movies of all time.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's
You
dope,
know,
man. I
so
had no idea that was a one take scene. Um, you out there
yeah,
rocking over the me and Rakim beat that Snoop we did. That was some funny. That was
yeah,
some dope shit, man. So,
yeah. That was
what are
cool.
you
That
working
was
on now?
classic.
You released the new single, "Monkey Wasn't Funky."
Hmm.
What do you got in the
Uh-huh.
future cooking up, brother?
I got some other shit. Me and Cool Rock Ski about to drop this cut called "Hush," and the video, y'all. I'm gonna wait. Y'all wait till y'all see this video. It's gonna be real hip hopish. You know what I mean? And then I got my daughter's stuff out. Anissa Long, aka Young Colombiana. Her name is spelled ANISAHLONG, Anissa Long. And go pick up her cut called F Boy Signs. And then I have a nephew out of Cleveland, Ohio. You know, he kind of like the trap funk. And his name is Justin Blue Moon. He got a cutout
Hmm.
called Man Please. So it's available on your digital site. So I'm just getting my artists prepared for their projects to drop. Um, my project is about to drop. We also got the Sugar Cane project about to drop with me and Sugar Free. Incredible.
Oh,
Got a single coming out with
woo.
Snoop. Yeah, got it. That shit
Yo, you
is
gotta get me up on
incredible.
that one, man.
Yeah, then me and Snoopy got a cutout called Talk That Shit to Me that he's been kind of playing and getting his bass warm up for the single. We also did a video for that. And I got my clothing line. Shout out to Gato coming. You know, we about to launch soon, so stay tuned for that. But it's a lot of good stuff going on, man. I'm just loving the creative side, you know what I'm saying? Because my business side is so on point. It allows me to just spread my wings now. So we've been
Hmm.
doing a lot of incredible stuff, man. And we've been doing our homework and taking advantage while everybody's hibernating to get some work done. And I'm still out here busting down on these hooks, you know, still
Yeah.
killing them on the hooks. You know, it's a blessing to have at least 5 to 10 inquiries every month. You know, so that way I can you know, talk to upcoming artists, mentor them, as well as give them some of that cocaine platinum sound. You know what I mean?
How can
So
somebody get a hook from
it just
cocaine?
feel good.
How does someone go about doing that?
Oh man, you got to make sure your bag is all right. I'm selective like
Yeah, yeah,
coffee.
that obviously. But what steps
Yeah,
do they have to go through? Do they go to your site and
it's
hit you
easy.
up or what?
I'm not hard. Yeah, all you got to do is DM me. Find out
Okay.
where my stuff is on my Instagram. You already know it. It's at cocaine. You spell it at KOKANE_OG_. And just DM me. You know, I ain't that hard to talk to. You know, if you mature, you got your business on point. You know, say the chit chatter and put it on the platter where it matter. I got you.
I love it. Well, brother,
Straight
thank you
up.
for spending your time with us this evening. We really appreciate you having, coming on and talking to us and answering some of our questions. Could you end by giving us a drop for my site, westcoaststyles.com, please?
All right. Yo, that's the legendary cocaine. You tapped into westcoaststyles.com. You already know. We stay on point like Stacey Adams.
Woo. I love it. Thank you,
One
my
love. One
brother.
more thing.
I've been working with you for
One more
many
thing.
years
Make sure.
now, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate everything that
Yeah.
you've done for me. And anytime you need your artists, you want to get them out there and publicized, just holler at me, man. My site is your home, brother.
Yeah, we got your back.
Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Shout out to Styles and South Paul too. And you know, Tim, man, we used to have some major conversations on Sunset, chopping it up, eating some good food. When this
Yeah.
bullshit virus slow down, man, we gonna have to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And let's keep this shit going, man. West Coast is active, and OGs is doing something, and let's knock down some of the walls of division with the young G's and the OGs.
For sure, brother.
I'm
All right,
with it.
brother. You have yourself a wonderful night, and I'll be at you soon, bro.
All right, take care.
Well, all right.
Peace.
Peace.
What time is it? Okay, we have some fabulous live music later on, but right now, here's the kind I prefer.